and welcome to the David Tomsic Show, fighting tyranny one day at a time. It's Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. I'm so glad you can join me. I hope all is well with you. Now, I can't say all is well with America, and I can't say all is well with most of the world. There is chaos abounding everywhere. And today we're going to talk about some of the causes of that chaos. One of them is the trade war, the elephant in the room. The next, we're going to discuss how divided America really is. Then we want to talk a little bit about the loss of American prestige and power around the world. These are three pretty big topics. We're not going to spend a lot of time on them. We're going to touch base on them. I have a couple of articles I'm going to read which will help clarify what's happening. First article is from CNN Politics. The fast worsening trade war between the United States and China, the planet's premier geopolitical powers, whose economies are intricately entwined, threatens to wreak havoc on both nations and will send shockwaves worldwide. Since President Donald Trump launched this potential cataclysm, it's fair to ask whether he's got a strategy and how he sees the endgame. As usual, Trump is improvising. His stunning escalation in tariffs on China this week didn't follow any meaningful formula. He's acting, as he always does, like a real estate shark, raising the stakes to intolerable levels to seek leverage. It's the latest manifestation of the madman theory, by which Trump conjures the most extreme circumstances to try to spook his opponents. We've seen this in his election. We've seen how he's got his followers believing things that are so crazy and so outlandish that you'd think a sane person wouldn't even listen. But they did, because he's really, really good at it. We are now in a huge trade war with China, and the tariffs that have been imposed on China are what I would call prohibitive. Former Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen told Zane Asher and Bianca Goldridge on CNN International Thursday. They're going to result in massive impacts on the United States and the global economy. No one knows where these policies are headed. Trump's tactics assume that the threat of massive consequences will force China into negotiations, as happened in the first term when the two sides reached a trade agreement that was never fully implemented even before the COVID-19 pandemic effectively shut down U.S. relations with Beijing. Okay, so obviously this is Trump's plan to make these grandiose, bold statements, throw these huge tariffs on somebody and force them to call him, come to the table, and then take his terms. Now, the problem here is China is a pretty big economy. They've been preparing for this trade war since his first term. They've reduced their connections with the United States, have reduced the amount of product they ship here by about 4%. So they're ready to take it on if they have to. We're not sure what will happen. The tariffs are now in place. We'll see who goes to the table, and we'll see what deal can be made, if any. So when you deal with China, this is the biggest economy in the world. And we're vying with that. We're vying with them for being the biggest economy. We still may be a little ahead of them. And there's numbers all over the place. Don't worry about those numbers. Doesn't matter if the United States is still sort of a little bigger than China, because it's beyond that now. China's there. It's the elephant in the room on its own. They are somebody we have to reckon with one way or the other. And Trump's plan is to try to either destroy them or make them come to him begging. This is his plan. It used to be we negotiated more often, but we don't. We just now go in and attack one way or the other. We've done it for years. He's now the master at it because he is a real estate shark. This is how he's looking at the world. And of course, he isn't just doing it for America. No, friends. See, he's going to put some money and change in his pocket too, right? Some change in his pocket. You don't think he made money when the stock market fell all those points, and then the next day when he made his announcement, it shot up? You don't think there was some people buying that dip? You don't think that he was one of those people and all his rich friends were? So he sets up these countries to get a deal, to find a way to make money for himself, and of course, America next, right? And I think we see this in a lot of different things that he's done over time here. He's pretty much attacked Canada, attacked Mexico, attacked Greenland, attacked Panama. Again, this is the art of the deal. He uses it in every circumstance. I'm going to take Canada. I mean, it's grandiose. I'm going to take Canada. So if you want to make a deal with me, I can put some change in my pocket. We can move on. Well, Canada didn't take the bait. Hence, now we have a problem with our northern neighbor. Now, in this particular article from U.S. Berkeley News, as Trump announced foreign policy, Berkeley scholar sees irreparable damage to U.S. power and prestige. In the Oval Office blow-up with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, exemplified what many foreign policy experts have long feared, that the U.S., under President Donald Trump, is abandoning its role as defender of democracies and aligning with autocracies like Russia. It's a seismic shift in international affairs, and one that will cast a long shadow of repercussions, says M. Stephen Fisher, a UC Berkeley professor of political science and expert on Russia, democracy, and international affairs. It's hard to see the United States ever recovering its power and prestige, Fisher said. The power and prestige and influence that it enjoyed over the last 80 years have all been squandered by Trump. The article goes on to say, the key now is that other world leaders, especially among our allies, or tragically, perhaps I should now say former allies, need to understand that they cannot depend in any way on American security guarantees as long as Trump is in office. The United States has always been the defender of other democracies. Trump in his first term said that he thought that everybody should pay for us to defend them. And I'm thinking of this, and again, it's a deal. We're going to make money off of you. And I know many people, you know who you are. By the way, this is my right hand. You know who you are. They love this because you got to pay. You got to pay to play. Remember that? You don't get a job unless you give me $1,000 and I'll get you into the interview and maybe your name will be picked. That's pay to play. Now, this is Donald Trump's, biggest negotiating tool. We're going to pay to play here. Now, if we did this, let's think about this, people, because those of us on the other side, to my left hand, we would rather negotiate. We would rather do the right thing. Money isn't the issue sometimes. It can't be, because if it was, nothing would ever get done. What would have happened in World War II if we would have said, listen, we'll help, but you got to pay. Here's our price. You've got to pay, and if you don't pay, we won't be there. We won't support you. Well, I guess if Europe didn't have any money, they'd have to take a loan to say, well, we'll pay you later, but what if we wanted the money now? Would we be speaking German here? You see where I'm going with this? Those of you that have common sense and some knowledge of history, of economics. People over there. Well, I guess this is what we're going to now. Now, Zelensky, and I'm not a fan of Ukraine. I thought they did some crazy things in the past. The Americans put them up to it. Let's be honest. American foreign policy isn't great, but it was consistent. But I'll tell you this, that as far as our position in the world goes, what he did with Zelensky has made everybody think. Now, you folks out there over here, you're happy because, we're not going to pay for NATO anymore. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. We don't want to spend any money. I understand that. I do. It's not that I don't agree with managing what you spend. But once again, you don't throw the bathwater out with the baby, or the baby with the bathwater. Is that right? This is not what we do. Money's not what we should be basing our relationship with other nations on. We're here as the premier democracy. Republic. But as far as it goes, we're the premier leader of the world. We're there to make sure, to help the world stay where it needs to stay. Be where it needs to be. Grow as it needs to grow. That takes money. That takes influence. That takes a leader with common sense, with the ability to actually speak to people without using just 4-letter words. That's what it takes, and we don't have that anymore. As bad as our foreign policy was from George W. Bush all the way through George Bush, Obama, Clinton in Bosnia, George Bush, of course, with 2 wars, Iraq again, and Afghanistan. I mean, we were involved in some nasty things, and they were wrong. I have stated that on this channel. So don't cry to me when I attack Donald Trump, because I attacked every one of those people, including Biden. You just can't handle it. Those people can't handle it. They can't handle it. You're not allowed free speech. You can't speak these things because you're wrong. But they can't prove anything. It's all what they want to believe. It's all what they're told over and over again. I'm digressing here, but this goes back to our foreign policy. There's a better way to do it, through negotiations, through soft power. We threw all that out. We're getting rid of USAID. People are so happy. We're saving trillions, and well, you're not saving trillions. It's 1.2% of the budget. Now that soft power is gone. That helped manage the world. It's money. It's just money. But you people think, oh man, we're going to be rich for this. Listen, all the stuff that this guy wants to do is going to make a difference for you. You're going to go in deeper and deeper in debt. You're not going to see any real results. You might get a check. Maybe you're going to get a check in the mail. You're going to feel so happy. I got a $5,000 check or whatever it is, because they got rid of all these people and they saved all this money and all this fraud. Well, I haven't seen any proof of how much fraud was really there. They have stated it with their mouths. Some 20-year-old kid said that people were stealing from Social Security since 1850. I mean, this geniuses, right, who know nothing about anything. And this is who we believe, because we need to make our base believe we're doing something. And you're going to get a dividend check. Listen, as I said before, keep your dividend check. I don't want your blood money. Your corrupt blood money. You're giving me $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and you're raking in billions. Insider trading, behind the scenes stock advice, like all the contracts Elon Musk got. Wink, wink, nod, nod. No one's going to look at his stuff. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to just keep blaming Joe Biden. You have to blame Joe Biden. Someone told me that yesterday. I'm sorry, Joe Biden's not president anymore. Maybe your brain isn't functioning properly and you don't realize it's now 2025. And by the same token, those of you that want to go back to the way it was in the 20th century, well, this is the 21st century. Things have changed. I digress. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about here is basically Donald Trump and how divided America really is. Okay, so the next article is from The Conversation. It's a pretty good magazine. It covers every topic, and it's well written and well researched. This particular article is entitled Trump's Second Term, Authoritarian, Radical, Triumphalist in a Divided U.S. U.S. President Donald Trump's inaugural address on January 20th revealed the key themes of his rhetoric. Triumphalism, overt authoritarianism, and provided insight into the programs he wants to implement. However, accomplishing his goals will not be easy amid division within the country that narrowly elected him. The key word there is narrowly. Now, again, a lot of people, their math's not good, or they don't know how to do math, or they don't want to do math. They just rather have somebody like Donald Trump said, we won by a landslide, and they believe it. Yeah, it was a landslide. It was a landslide. No, it wasn't. I'm sorry. Don't talk to me anymore. And don't talk to me anymore, because I can't deal with 2 shades of stupid. I can't deal with it, friends. Sorry. Whew. Stressing out there. Is that digressing? The article goes on. Headline: The Triumphant Hero, Martyr, and Messiah. In his 2017 inaugural address, Trump delivered a populist message decrying the establishment for carnage, afflicting forgotten Americans. 8 years later, in the longest inaugural speech in 4 decades, he painted a starkly different picture, one of a victorious and ambitious country, with himself as both its savior and the embodiment of its triumph. Trump used the words I, me, and my 50 times in his 2025 address, compared to just 4 in 2017. deliberately merging his personal identity with that of the nation. One and the same. One and the same, baby. One and the same. He cast himself as both a hero martyr, tested and challenged more than any president in over 250 years of her history. He cast himself as both hero martyr, tested and challenged more than any president in our 250-year history, and the sole leader capable of solving the country's problems. What were some of the things he's going to do? Radical crackdown on immigration. Trump's stance on immigration is significantly more extreme than his 2017 agenda. While his first term focused on reinforcing borders, he now frames illegal immigration as an invasion requiring military intervention. On Inauguration Day, the president signed several executive orders, including one seeking to eliminate birthright citizenship. Despite its protection under the 14th Amendment, why are we letting the 14th Amendment of the Constitution getting in the way of getting rid of people? How dare they? Wow. His hardline approach energizes supporters within the conservative base. There you go. Some of whom subscribe to the Great Replacement theory and view his policies as necessary to preserve American identity. Okay, what else did he do? Reviving founding myths. Trump's historical narrative is steeped in romanticized patriotism. He revived the myth of the frontier, a late 19th century ideal portraying westward expansion as the ultimate symbol of American dynamism. The narrative ignores histories of genocide of indigenous peoples and environmental destruction. Why are we letting that stuff get in the way of expansion? What are you talking about? Who thought of that? His vision of inexhaustible natural resources, particularly shale, oil, and gas, described as liquid gold, reflects this ideology of relentless economic expansion in 19th century bonanza economics. Wow. By rejecting U.S. conservationist traditions, Trump is prioritizing industrial growth over environmental sustainability. Trump draws inspiration from President William McKinley, an advocate of expansionism during the Spanish-American War, which brought territories such as the Philippines and Puerto Rico under U.S. control. Reviving the concept of manifest destiny, he merged exceptionalism with expansionism, vowing to plant the American flag on Mars. Trump reinstated the intention to rename the Gulf of Mexico, which he did, a gesture with little practical impact given that much of the Gulf lies outside U.S. territory, while he expressed interest in purchasing Greenland, which he has also claimed to be willing to take over, and even annexing Canada. He mentioned neither in his inaugural speech. However, he did promise to take control of the Panama Canal, justifying the move with a series of lies and exaggerations regarding its history and operation. Here's the final thing I want to bring up to you, the new golden age. I've talked about this in other videos. Listen carefully, people. Those on the other side, and I'm being cautious here, those on the other side, remember this is my right hand, they want this. It doesn't matter if it does any damage, if it's illegal, if it hurts people, whatever. It doesn't matter. They want this because they were told they want it. Their leader told them, we need it, we want it, we'll take it. That's the new America. As bad as it was with other presidents, this guy is so far in left field, you need a ticket to find him. I'm digressing. A new golden age or gilded age. Trump's admiration for McKinley extends to his economic policies. He envisions a protectionist strategy driving national reindustrialization. Yet McKinley's era, the Gilded Age, was marked by extreme inequality, a lack of income and corporate taxes, minimal regulation, and rampant corruption. The wealthiest figures of the time, later dubbed robber barons, mirror the oligarch ambitions of Trump's current supporters. Ironically, as economist Douglas A. Irwin notes, the economic prosperity of the late 19th century was not driven by tariffs, but by mass immigration. Between 1870 and 1913, the U.S. population doubled due to an influx of unskilled laborers, a reality at odds with Trump's strict immigration agenda. Trump's vision, as outlined in his speech, is one of maximal presidential power, where justice is subordinated to political goals. His decision to pardon over 1,500 individuals convicted for their involvement in the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot underscores the authoritarian approach, reinforcing the idea that traditional laws do not apply to his most loyal and even violent supporters. I'm glad you held on for that. So here's my take, as I already added a little bit of commentary. What America do you want? What America do you want? There's a tale of two Americas here. Now, I'm saying this honestly. I've really hammered a lot of the presidents in the past, from George W. Bush all the way through Joe Biden. We've had a lot of people that made bad decisions. We have been at war way too much. We have been spending a lot more money than we need to spend. But burning the whole country down to fix it makes no sense. Firing everybody makes no sense. And I think we've been lied to by Donald Trump, and he used his way of making everything look really bad to get what he wants. I've been told, and someone told me, how these immigrants that are here are mostly criminals. I'm uncomfortable when someone says that, because it shows me a lack of knowledge. And when I quote maybe some information, they ask me, was that a Democrat? Here we go, strike two. I'm not sure America can be fixed. I don't think it can be fixed by the damage being done by Donald Trump. We have created such a divide now. Whether you like people on the left or you like people on the right or you don't, isn't the point here. The point is the divide has been created. It's a rift that is so wide that nothing short of Armageddon will fix it. And we could be heading for financial Armageddon. We don't know. Many economists are believing this could be one of the worst recessions we're going into in history. I don't know. I look at this all the time. There's too many things we really can't pin down, because everything changes every day. A tariff changes, Donald Trump changes his mind, then goes back upon it, then changes again. And of course, the world is left hanging. And what the world is doing is just saying, well, we'll tell you, Donald, we'll do what you want. They're going to do what he wants. And behind his back, they're going to start fixing their own messes. They're going to start making their own deals. They're going to start making their own trade partners. They're going to have their own currency, which the BRICS currency will probably come about in the next 5 years. I do know that the BRICS, who Donald Trump tried to destroy by his threats, is now offering a payment system that is now going to rival the SWIFT system the United States and the Western world uses. That's going to pretty much eliminate any threats he can make upon them, because now they can transact using a separate system. They can't be hijacked, they can't be threatened, they can't be tariffed. So we're looking at a change in our world, away from the United States, which is what he wants. We're going back to that Gilded Age. Now, many of you might not understand that the Gilded Age was not a good time, as I read. It was not a good time for most people. And I'm afraid to say that it really reeks of racism, of robber baronism, of cronyism. And I think a lot of people just misunderstand that this is the direction we're going in. They're too excited because those groups of people they hate are being attacked right now. And they feel good about it. I don't. I've been criticized for saying that, that's not what we're here to do. I digress. So you be who you want to be. As a Christian, I truly want to believe that I'm here to spread that good news. And I'm not here to judge you. I can't, because I'm pretty flawed. I'm pretty flawed. And those people that want to make statements and die on that hill, I'll come visit you and I'll put flowers on your grave, because I'm not going to die on that hill. I'm going to support those people who agree with me. I'm going to support those people who are willing to join the resistance with me against the tyranny we see today. And if that's you, give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. Listen, that's all the time I'm going to put to this video today. I hope it's maybe enlightened you a little bit. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to this channel. And make sure you go on over to the Nights Around the Fire, my sister channel. We have one video out. We're trying to get a second one out here soon. Like, subscribe, and share to that. I'll have a link in the description box. It'll get you right to that video. And, of course, don't forget, God loves you. God bless you. And I'll see you next time right here on The David Tomsic Show.